I have this to say to the modern young girl, gentlemen. Be free. Express yourself. Take your life in your own hands and mold it. The world will try to rob you of your freedom, but fight for it. It's all you have to live for. That's all for the modern girl, gentlemen. What else? Ask me anything.
How's my hair look? Just don't touch it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Caitlin and I'm so happy to have you. In today's video, I'm taking a sheet that I bought at a secondhand store and turning it into a Claire McCardell inspired dress. If you're not familiar with Claire McCardell, she was an American fashion designer in the 40s and 50s who was responsible for creating what became known as the American look. Some crash course basics. Claire wanted to create women's clothes that was chic and comfortable. She didn't see why it had to be one or the other. She's quoted as saying, "Casual does not mean careless." McCardell's education in fashion started at the Parsons School of Design and included work and study in Paris in the 1920s. She is remembered as the quintessential American designer. She didn't want to mimic Parisian styles as was a general global custom. Instead, she set out to create her own style for the changing times and needs of the women around her, American women. Women who were housewives, women in the workforce, and housewives who now found themselves in the workforce, and so on. It resulted in her creating such iconic items as the hoodie, women's athletic wear, ballet flats with capezio, and the first capsule-style wardrobe, which she called separates, meaning they could be worn and styled with many different options. A common idea now, but a novelty at the time. The separates consisted of 5 or 6 pieces that were travel-friendly and easily mixed and matched, creating multiple looks without having a suitcase weighed down by overpacking. She was thoughtful in her designs, including ensuring that whatever it was she was creating was comfortable for the wearer. Regularly incorporating pockets into her dresses and placing closures in easily reachable locations rather than assuming someone wearing her clothes would have a husband or servant on hand to assist with inconveniently placed zippers and buttons. When I began researching for this project, I stumbled upon a photo of a Claire McCardell statue and was pleasantly surprised to find that it was not too far from me. Claire was from Frederick, Maryland, and in the fall of 2021, the town of Frederick had a statue of her erected. Naturally, being so close by, I wanted to go and see the statue for myself and go and check out the antiques in the surrounding area. The statue was created by a sculptor named Sarah Lempel-Irani. If you're ever in or near Frederick, Maryland, I highly recommend you check out the statue and the delightful town. Okay, so am I too short now? I was working on the skirt a couple of days ago. It's been a couple days since I've even picked up this project. And when I put it down, I was having some thoughts about putting a second layer underneath the sheet because I'm worried about it being a little too sheer. So I have this white cotton sheet which feels so nice. I can't remember where I picked it up, but it's just a plain white sheet, and I think that there's a ton of it, and I think that it would be a really nice lining for the bottom of the skirt. I don't know if I'll put it in the top. I think we'll see when I get there, but I'm just gonna put it in the bottom layer of the skirt for now, and I will play it by ear when it comes to the top because I still don't even know what I'm doing for the top. Okay, that's the only update. So let's get back to work.
Son of a bitch.
So my golden rule when it comes to sewing is to not go past 10 o'clock. It's 9:02. And the reason I bring this up is because I should technically have another, 58 minutes in me before I start to make mistakes from being tired or getting distracted or all of the above. So this is the old gather line and this is a new gather line. But you may notice that the new gather line is not gathered, but the old gather line is gathered. Now I pulled all of this gathering out when I went to put this new gathering line in. I just spent the last, few minutes gathering the wrong line.
Oops, I made a mistake.
So we're going to take these gathers out. Oh, that's rich. I gathered on the wrong gathering line on my right side. And then I gathered on the correct gathering lines on my left side, you're right. So I have gathered correctly on this side and incorrectly on this side. I really don't know. Distracted, dazed, both. Okay, so right now I have the cotton lining pinned with the outside of the skirt, and it feels really nice because this is from a cotton sheet, the lining. They're both sheets, but this top one is a cotton polyester blend. The underside, the white lining, it's just from 100% cotton sheet, so it feels cool and soft and lovely. But I was having some thoughts last night about whether or not it was too bulky, and you can even tell from here where it's been gathered. It's got a little bit of thickness to it. That is fine if that's what I decide I want, but it wasn't originally what I had intended. So also with this, I feel like, is that the Little Mermaid? When she just takes like a, I don't know, whatever that is, a shipping, like a ship sail or something and has it wrapped around her. I don't know why this reminds me of that, but it does. Then this would be something like, as I'm trying to hold my side because this is pinned on, be something like that. I think this will work. So then everything should pin on this side. So, okay, let's go through what we need to do. Sew the lining to the skirt and then close up the side. And then I'm going to attach the cummerbund to the skirt. Gosh, then we just have the top to make. You know what? You know what would make this great? Did you see how I just did this absent-mindedly? I think you know what needs to go here. Let's all say it together. 1, 2, 3, pockets. All right, back to work. Nice. Thank you.
A few moments later.
No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Sparky, no. Please get off. Come here. Yeah, come in here. Come in here. Do you want it to be cozy? It worked. This is really nice. I like it. Just need to actually fasten it on this side and then we're ready to go. It only takes a taste. When you know it's good, more than enough. When it came to the bodice, I went to see if I had any tops that resembled what I was going for. Then I pulled out my sketchbook and started to look at the picture that I had. Unfortunately, this was the only picture that I know that exists of this dress, so I ended up having to do a little bit of guesswork on what the front was going to look like. I decided to go with 2 panels that would be gathered at the bottom where the top connected to the skirt piece, and then create a halter on the top side of the bodice. When all was said and done, it ended up being too thick with the lining and the outside fabric. Essentially, they look like 2 little throw pillows, so that might be in their future. And from there, I wasn't really sure what to do, so naturally I decided to ignore it and to turn my efforts towards a different part of the dress. And sadly, because I'd already done this with another aspect of the dress, I could not avoid at this point because it was necessary for me to complete in order to move on. It brought me back to the hand sewing. But where there's a will, there's a way. And I really did not want to hand sew and take all of that time to hand stitch it. So I ended up doing I guess a sort of a top stitch. And I ended up settling with that because I realized that the top of the gathers were covered by the cummerbund, so it wasn't going to be seen by anyone. And if it wasn't going to be seen by anyone, I was definitely going to take the shortcut. And I'm glad that I did. I feel like it also just made it sturdier. So machine stitch it was, and I was happy. I would say, generally speaking, I used my seam ripper more on this project than I have in probably the last 3 items that I've created. The biggest problem was, really, I just don't know my own strength. I had to get the gathered fabric to line up and be the same width as the squares. It happened at least 2 or 3 times where I pulled on the gather to retighten it and I broke off the thread. I was done with gathers by the end of this project. I don't like hand sewing. I feel like that's a pretty strong statement that doesn't represent me always, but right now I don't like hand sewing. I don't have the patience for it right now. So what I've done tonight, still working on this one. No. Yes. But I sewed on these snaps and I sewed on these buttons, and I want to be done. Last night when I was doing these buttonholes, I've never had any real issues with buttonholes before, but that was not the case last night. Just having a rough time. So I'll finish up that last snap and call it a night. I had wanted to finish all of this tonight. That didn't happen. Actually, I wanted to finish it all last night, and that didn't happen. It's okay. Tomorrow. Well, I just spent all that time putting these snaps in, and I'm gonna leave these ones in, but what I need to do, I need to add 2 more, because what I found is that when I have it snapped here, it's too loose. Like you can see it's gaping. It stays up because of the inside remnants of the gather that I top stitched, and which the top of the dress will attach to. But here, really what I need is for this to be here. Hi, kitty. I need it to be here so that way it's nice and fitted and I don't feel like it's falling down, what I currently feel like. So 2 more snaps it is. Yay. Once I finished that, I went back to trying to figure out what the top of the bodice was going to be. So I started to drape the scrap fabric that I had, and incredibly, I essentially took that scrap piece of fabric and based the bodice off of that, and it worked. Okay, a little update. I think I found a way around hand sewing the top to the skirt. In fact, it would require very little sewing, and so that's what I'm going to try out now. It is basically tacking down the bodice in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like around 8 places, allowing the folds to lie wherever they want, not having the fold sewn in place, which gives a little bit of structural freedom. So that's what I'm going to do now.
son of a bitch.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe. I'd love to have you. And if you have a favorite designer of your own, I would love to hear about them, so please leave a comment below. All right, everyone, I will see you all in the next one. Bye! American. If you're not familiar with an American, why is that so hard to say? An American, like Animaniacs, an American.
Because the alternative is to like sit on his path, face me in. Stay going. I'm gonna stop vlogging now so I don't kill myself. We might be hiking kind of like dusk. Oh my God, this is great.
See you later.